Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily, and in true Get Offset fashion, the intro wanted to play twice.
Yep, it just wanted some more limelight time. And I'm Joan of Heart.
Did I already say I'm Emily?
It's been that kind of day so far, so we appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, I almost feel like I should have clapped in. I don't know what's happening anymore.
Actually, it's
fantastic.
more like a, yay, we made it this far today.
Made it to 201 episodes of the Get Offset podcast, and I don't have a stupid cheesy joke to make. Boy, are my arms tired. Boy, is my brain exhausted. But yeah,
it's a lot of episodes.
It's been a time. And last week we asked people to send in some of their favorite memories, some well wishes and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought maybe we could do that. Yeah?
No, it would be lovely. I'm actually looking forward to hearing some of the things that people recorded. Again, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to send these in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really do. We got some good ones. And the thing is, like, I saved these all to a Dropbox so I could pretty easily, like, just for routing purposes.
Access them. Yeah.
But I don't have their names on them, so we're gonna figure it out, I hope.
Oh, no. Some I may recognize the voice sound.
I hope everybody said what their name was. Let's see. Details. The details does not organize by by download time. But yeah, let's get started. Let's hear one.
Hey y'all, this is Steve from 60 Cycle Hum, and I just wanted to say congratulations on 200 episodes. That's a really big thing, and you guys did it. So congrats. I don't have a favorite moment because there are just so many. But I think the thing that was cool for me is getting to meet you, Emily, and Andrew in person and hang out at NAMM and different gear events, and definitely looking forward to doing more of that in the future. So again, congrats to yourselves, because this is a big thing that you guys did in pushing yourselves to stick with it and put out all these episodes. So cool.
Cool. Thanks, Steve.
It's just gonna go straight into the next
you
one.
want to play it again, you see?
Was that Steve? Was that? It didn't go to the next one. Yeah, that was just Steve again. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Steve. Wow, that's really, really sweet, and I appreciate it. And you know, 60 Cycle Hum was a big influence in starting the podcast in the first place. I know Andrew and Zach and I, it's kind of where we all met, that community. So it really means a lot to have Steve send that in. And I can tell you my least favorite memory with Steve is getting COVID from him.
Oh, no.
Not his fault.
Sharing sometimes is not caring.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. Oh, that was really sweet. Yeah.
No, thank you, Steve. Yeah, 60 Cycle Hum has been great. Really fun stuff they do. And yeah, I started watching them, I think, around the same time that I started to watch and listen to the Get Offset podcast, as far as like what the demos you do. And yeah, like it's really good to hear his voice and, you know, just kind of tell a little bit of stories here and there.
Yeah, for real. And, you know, fun fact about Steve, he is quite tall. He's really tall. I'm pretty tall. But he and Ryan are both, they're two of the tall boys of your podcasting. Actually, a lot of the guitar podcasters are taller than I would expect. Rhett Scholl's very tall.
Really?
From the
how
Dipped
tall?
and Tone
You say
podcast.
like 6 feet or over 6 feet?
He's over 6 feet. Easily.
Yeah.
And so are both Steve and Ryan. And we're just talking about how tall guys are. You know how tall guys can be. Yeah.
I would definitely in those settings realized how vertically challenged I am.
I'm tallish. I get it. Oh, Cool. Layla sent something. We'll play that one in a second. I hope.
Aw.
I really hope.
Hope this time. Yes, we had technical difficulties earlier, so it's more like a do what we told you to do it now.
Yeah, so it's, most people don't understand how like legit tricky it is to get audio to play from your computer. Like, so here's what we're dealing with in terms of routing, what I'm dealing with. I need my vocals to come through. That's one. I need to be able to hear Joe. I need to be able to hear and push to everyone else the audio from these clips. And I need to... Is that a cat? The Figs?
He's agreeing with you. He's agreeing with you. Yeah. Figs, now's not the time.
Yeah. So I can't play those audio files over Chrome because if I route all my external audio directly to Squadcast, you'll hear Joe twice. And it'll be a pain in the ass to mix.
Echo.
Oh, I can do that too.
Oh, no, we don't want that for you.
Echo. Did you hear that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I heard that. Totally, yes.
So big thanks to PreSonus for sending the Revelator IO24. Here, it's right here. It's kind of it's nice. Plugged into the back of the computer, which makes it hard to hold it up.
It's connected. You can see.
It's connected, but it's making it like legit possible to do this. So it's a cool device. I want to do a live stream where I go through everything, but I'll show. How about I show something right now? I'll just show it off a little bit, just so people can see.
Yeah, go ahead. Totally.
So this is the universal control of the Revelator IO24. And it looks like it's working on your computer, but it's actually all working in the interface because live streaming takes up a lot of your computer resources. So there are like some presets, and then I have have my default one, and it has my preferred voice modulator, which is Echo. But there's also like pitch up, pitch down, which is funny.
Oh, this is great. I would have to go through my pedal board to like do all this. This is rather convenient.
I know, it's kind of fun.
Just a click away.
This one's called Bots. It's kind of a vocoder kind of thing, and you can go over
Domo
here.
Arigato, Mrs. Roboto.
Yeah, you can go up here and make changes to the EQ, to the filters. I'll turn that off.
Ready to assist you.
Oh, here's the vocoder one. This is the vocoder, but it's not really doing anything. Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, I hear a little of it. There we go.
Next. And the
you get some Laurie Anderson going there.
Yeah. I love Laurie Anderson. So that's just
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the little bit of the software. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn the gate down because I think it's making some weird kind of sounds. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty neat. So thank you, PreSonus. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's move to the next. You got something to say?
Actually, just for a second, yeah. Speaking of giving thanks, I really wanted to give a shout out and thanks to Dylan, which is also known on IG as, Guitar Wannabe. He donated to the podcast a Shure MV7 microphone.
But Joe and I have matching MV7s.
Yes, we do. So again, thank you so much for that generosity, because not only is it going to help me not sound underwater because I have high ceilings, a window here so I can't treat, and I have no doors. So it's the worst situation for my recording, and this is going to also help with the demos as well, so I don't spend as much time in post wrangling with the audio to make it sound better and crying about it. So seriously, it has really made a difference immediately, this microphone. So again, thank you profusely, more than I know I've written to you already, but just through words. Thank you so much, Dylan. I really, really appreciate this generosity. And again, donating to the podcast or even demos and stuff like that, it really helps us on a budget kind of improve things. And that's really what we're going for, trying to give the best quality and the best that we can do. So thank you for any help along the way.
Really well put, Joe. I mean, we don't make a living doing this, really not even close. It's a labor of love. But when people really can help us like make it better in any way, shape, or form, like the Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset, $5 a month, you get into our Discord community, which is my favorite thing about the podcast, I think. But
yeah, I do too.
The money that you spend, it helps us keep the podcast going. It pays for things like the tool that we use to do this video podcast. It's not free, but it's necessary to put out a quality product. Yeah, we could do it over Skype, but then the audio is not going to sound good. The video is not going to be as good. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to do stuff in post as easily.
It'd be more work in post.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, thank you to everyone who supports financially, but thank you to everyone who listens. I think the best way to support the podcast without money is by leaving a review on iTunes. That's always appreciated. We haven't gotten one of those in a while.
Yeah.
But it helps more people find the podcast, liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, interacting with us on Spotify. Now you can watch the podcast videos on Spotify. Yeah. And there are questions with most episodes. You can answer, you can contribute, you can send us these video messages that we're playing right now. It's really neat.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah, these are great as well. And I also appreciate some of the people that have, DM'd me like an IG and stuff like that directly and told me how much they've appreciated the podcast in several instances since I started to be a part of it. So, again, thank you so much. And again, your kind of encouragement and support is really what gives this life and keeps it going forward. It really is a community.
Yeah. Listen, I'd play a show if nobody showed up.
So on to the next one.
I would not do this if nobody listened. So I want to read one by Robert McDowell, who's one of the biggest supporters of the podcast over the years. Really love Robert. But he says, congrats. I'm not sure how to send voicemail, but I have two favorite moments. One is when you went live impromptu with the Acoustasonic Jazz Master and asked us what pedals we wanted to hear. Mine was the Albee and you played it. Oh, that was actually really fun live. I want to do more lives like that. Cool. The second was when you went live by accident. We were all having great conversations, laughing while trying to get a hold of you. So I have this little, I've changed the setup a little bit, but I used to just kind of, when I wasn't using my webcam, instead of taking it down completely, I would just kind of point it to the ceiling. I must have been filming or like testing something in Streamlabs, and I accidentally went live. And I was just like, like 30 minutes later, I'm like checking my Instagram, and Robert's like, Emily, did you know you're live right now? I'm like, say what? And the chat was hopping, and we hung out, we talked for a while. That was really fun.
Great.
Yeah. Everyone's like, is this some weird marketing thing? Because it was just like the corner of my ceiling.
Is this intentional? And you just pick it up. Yes, this is totally intentional. Welcome, everyone.
Made you look.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Gotcha.
Let's go to the next one. See what this is.
Hey, this is Layla Seedy from Tunatone Instruments. Congratulations on your 200th episode. It's such a pleasure to watch Get Offset grow and maintain the kindness and playfulness and honesty that's always characterized it. Just wishing you all the best in the future, and I'll look forward to chatting on the airwaves again.
Layla!
Hey!
Oh, one of my favorite people just on the face of the earth. Thank you, Layla. Layla has been on more than one episode of the podcast. We've done some live streams together. We haven't had her on in a while, and I really would like to. She's building me a base.
There's been some new stuff that they've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like the tulip shape one or?
The tulip.
I'm excited about that
then. That's what I'm getting. I'm gonna send a label these as we go through.
That's awesome.
So she also sent me a note on Signal. So I'm gonna read that one too, because I've been trying not to look or read. Oh, this is basically just what she had said. Congratulations on your 200th. I had the pleasure of being an early guest on the podcast, and it's
work.
been such a point of pride to watch Get Offset grow. I admire your commitment, the ways you have grown into such an important source of information and conversation that you've maintained your kindness, playfulness, and honesty through the journey. Oh, yeah, I want to have Layla back on.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. So if you aren't familiar with Tunatone Instruments, get familiar is my advice. It is they're just such beautiful guitars. Layla, she does them all by hand. She uses sustainable materials and has a lot of customized parts. And the guitars are her own design completely. And it's really, really cool to see how she's grown. I think I have the 6th one ever made, Tunatone, actual teeny tuna. And I remember the Vancouver Guitar Show in 2018, it must have been, where I met Layla and got to write an article about her for the Fretboard Journal and got to play her prototype Tunatone. So that was great. It's just been a long time friend. I can't believe we've
I think I remember
been
you
friends
talking
for
about that in the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. For so long. Yeah.
Yeah, time flies. It really does.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
I'm actually
It's a
interested in
flat
hearing about the
circle.
whole, was it the palm vibrato? I actually wanted to hear the
Yeah.
process of that if we have her on. I really want to hear about that. Aside from obviously the tulip bass, but those two things.
Yeah, I kind of asked her if I could retrofit mine with one, but it just sounds like it'd be kind of difficult. So I'm gonna put a hold
with
on
one.
that one. Also, I had to buy a refrigerator this week, so not really looking to spend any money.
No.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
You know, Joe knows the dirty details of my refrigerator
all that
breaking,
food.
but
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah,
the food
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's the worst
Life is
part,
like, hold my
man.
beer.
Yeah, and like just
The food, yeah. I've had that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. It really sucked. But it's
That's the worst part about it. Like we had that happen. Yeah. And it was bad.
Yeah.
Clean the
Yeah,
fridge out.
and
Like it rank. You just found out about it. Yeah.
Our available space is kind of weird. Most refrigerators are 36 inches wide, and we only have about 34 inches. 33 is ideal. So we had like two choices in one, and we ended up going with the one that could get delivered today. So it's there. It's getting cold, I guess. And we're just going to have to figure out how to get rid of all this food that went to waste. Yeah, a lot of it. Rick's like, we can do it over a couple of weeks for the compost. I'm like, no, get it out of my life. Get it out of my life, because we're going to need to put new stuff in that fridge. All right.
GTFO.
Digression. Yes. Thank you to everyone who's ever paid for a demo, because guess where that money went? New fridge. It's an expense, right? All right, let's listen to the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Greetings. This is Hondo, and I don't often listen to podcasts, but when I do, I listen to Get All Set, because when I'm listening to Joan and Emily, it sounds like I'm listening to old friends talk about music gear, and they make it a blast to listen to.
Aw.
Congratulations on your 200 episodes, and I hope there's 200 more coming.
Oh,
Take it easy.
love Hondo. He is
I love
so
Hondo.
great. If you're not already following,
Protect that man.
at all costs. If you're not already
Protect that
following
man.
Hondo on YouTube, Instagram, and the like, he does a lot of demos also on bass and synths, and he's just a phenomenal musician, composer, and I got to meet him at NAMM this year for the first time in person, and that was really, really cool. We had a lot of fun hanging out. He is on the Lost episode of Get Offset. Lost. I might release his section because it was pretty fun. But he's another one I'd like to have on the podcast soon. You know, I
I would
love him.
too.
Yeah, he's so creative.
Any interactions I've had with him, he's just been a joy to talk to, and also kind, considerate. And there is such a, when you think about demos regarding like pedals and bass, like I really mostly just think of him, because when I was just pretty much got my bass, there was just a huge lack of channels that were doing any kind of pedal bass, kind of gear stuff. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate him contributing himself to that, and, getting to hear even not just the regular, playing of bass, but he does some ambient stuff too, which of course I appreciate. So I love hearing the bass in that context as well. A very versatile player. Really,
he's got such
great.
a unique,
I appreciate it.
unique musical voice. Yeah, love that. Let's see. We have a few more.
Hey, Get Offset. This is David from the Timber Owls. I just wanted to say congratulations on 200 episodes. That is an awesome milestone. I hope you guys have 200,000 more episodes. And thinking back to my favorite episode, I'd probably have to say that the Mrs. Smith episode was one of the funniest podcast episodes I've ever listened to.
I love Mrs. Smith.
So that's definitely one of my favorites for sure. So yeah, again, congratulations on 200 episodes, and you know what? Thank you for offsetting the gear culture.
David Ishizaka, everyone. God, that Mrs. Smith episode was so fun. Andrew really made that one happen in a big way. That's one I'm like, damn, I wish we'd been a video podcast at that point. I don't know. I'm sure Mrs. Smith was glad to just be in her robe or whatever. No, that would have been a lot of work.
Exactly.
It takes work to put on your face. if you're
It does.
If you care.
She looks beautiful.
She really does. Looks beautiful, plays beautifully. Mrs. Smith. And her guitar tech, David, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, and I hope one day she finds Carlisle.
Oh, Carlisle. Just if you don't follow Mrs. Smith, it's great. It's just I don't want to ruin the surprise.
There's a whole lore to everything.
There really is.
I won't ruin it, but if you check out Mrs. Smith, amazing storytelling. She's such a great comedian in many ways. Besides the shredding, oh my God, I love watching anything she does.
For real. Cool. Let's see what's next, and then maybe we can talk about what's new, and then play the rest of them. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and I'll talk about, obviously, since I'm already here, I'll talk about my favorite episodes at some point when we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about mine, too.
Hey, this is Rick Matthews of Matthews Effects, and I just want to congratulate the Get Offset podcast for hitting their 200th episodes. It's so awesome. As, the honored person who was their very first guest, it's been awesome to watch the podcast grow and all the content, everything they've done, everything they've created. I just want to say a big thank you for being part of the industry. Great job on everything you're doing, and can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Oh, Rick was, in fact, the first guest on Get Offset. We went all the way to Richland, Washington, and this is before we'd even launched episodes, because we wanted to launch with a few episodes in the bag,
so
people,
if
they
naturally,
wanted to,
that's what you do.
I think that's the smarter thing to do, personally.
Digest a few.
And it worked. It really worked. It was also our only video episode for a very long time. We also filmed with Curtis Lamberton on the same trip in the same day, actually, but the video didn't really turn out, unfortunately. But that's an audio podcast. But Rick was literally first, so that's great. And I've loved seeing
Matthews Effects back.
Yeah, I've loved seeing Matthews Effects grow, and the creativity with Rick, especially in terms of MIDI stuff, which goes above my head. They're good pedals. They're real good pedals. You should check them out.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about what's new?
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about what's new with me as we take like a little deviation. I'm still obviously working on practicing, rehearsing for the gig, one of the gigs this weekend that I have with Julia Simone, which the track is out now when this podcast is out. It's called California. The singer's name is Julia Simone. And I posted, I think, a few links in my stories. Yeah, and we have another gig then the following Sunday at another location. So I've had to learn quite a bit of original songs within like a week's time, which it's been like 2 years, 8 months, like since I've played with anyone. So it's definitely been a challenge and like a trial by fire in a sense. I'm trying to get things as good as I can get them by tomorrow, which is the first gig, but I'm figuring by the next one, I can tighten anything up if there's any, things that happen tomorrow.
Yeah, totally.
That I need to tighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other...
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, sometimes you just got to dive in on these kinds of things. It's sort of hard to get your feet wet without just going all in on it.
Literally.
And those gigs, they are hard. Like anytime you have to learn new material is tough, but it's especially tough when it's original material or material where there aren't resources on how to play it already and time frames. So it's really I enjoy it generally. There are times where I'm like wondering why the hell did I do this?
I think I teetered between that.
I mean,
in a sense. Yeah, I mean, and in a sense too. I mean, in any of the things that I am encountering that's challenging, it's also a really reevaluation of where I am currently, where I need to, as a musician, get better at things or learn how to do certain things better. So again, it's, a challenge. It's a short span of time, but going forward, if I want to improve and be a better musician, these are the instances that remind you of like, hey, you still have things that you have as far as either practicing or doing in such a way that going forward is going to be good for you. The obstacle is the way, technically is what I view.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
It's a book I've read. But not read, more like audiobook. I'm more of an audiobook person as opposed to like reading.
It's still reading.
Yeah. Technically.
I love books and I love reading, but I like consuming that stuff when I'm like doing chores or walking or commuting.
Yeah. When I go out.
It's like multitasking, but in a way that doesn't break your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, and for me, it's like being told a story. Yeah, exactly. Also, it's like, oh, look, someone's reading me a bedtime story.
What we have to remember as well is that literature was created for centuries to primarily be consumed auditorily. It's not reading, like just people being able to read is a relatively new phenomenon. And you think about people like Homer who just memorized Iliads, the Iliad and the Odyssey, these epic poems and stuff. People just had to memorize them if you couldn't read, or he was blind, so he wouldn't have been able to. I'm not sure they had like Braille back then. I'm sure they had something
back then. Probably not.
I guess they probably didn't really care.
Most likely.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, a lot of stories were told through word of mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, and like through the Middle Ages, very few in the Western civilization, because that's where most of my knowledge comes from. Reading was very much kept to like the clergy and the monks, and most lay people couldn't read. So reading as a pastime is new, and listening to stories through your ears is a time-honored tradition. So never feel bad about audiobooks.
Yeah.
Never feel bad about audiobooks. You're still reading.
Also, musicians are pretty much the herald of storytelling as well. So back then, if you want to tell stories, if you want people to remember what that story is, give it in song. Make it catchy. People will sing it when they're doing things. It'll pass on. Yep.
Easier to remember words Simple when they're associated with melodies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I rented finally they had it in stock at Pedal Genie, so I was finally able to rent the Old Blood Noise Endeavors Black Fountain, which I've been talking about wanting to rent for a while.
So it's not dude, you've been talking about that one for forever.
I have been. So they finally had it. It's not the tap tempo. It's the obviously just say, well, it's fine. I'm happy to have it to experience it, and if it's something I haven't played it yet since I kind of just got it, get some time with it, and if I like it, in the future, it may be something that I just may get the V3 where I have the tap tempo, which would be great. Yeah. But as I said, I really liked the sound with the amp that you fixed where it had that oil can inside delay. And I never heard that before.
Yeah, so for those who aren't sure, I'd picked up, I guess it was probably last year for pretty cheap. Yeah. Last October it must have been. August, an oil can delay, a Fender I want to say Telray, that doesn't sound completely right. But it was broken, and I mostly fixed it, and then I resold it to the guy I bought it from for a profit. But there were some videos on it.
Profit.
Yeah. Honestly, I did my first video kind of showing how it wasn't working in certain ways, and then the feedback, because the first thing was the mix was all the way up, there was no dry signal, and it was one of the comments that helped me figure out that something that was kind of unmarked in the schematic I was looking at was a mix. So that that's why you'd post stuff online sometimes, because then there are other people who have this wealth of information that you don't have. But what I was going to say about the oil can delays,
I appreciate those people so much.
Yeah. I was going to say about the oil can style delays is I don't think having tap tempo is super important for them. They often just had a quick and a long, no, it's not. Which in the long wasn't, because if it's sweat, ambient stuff, you really want a tap tempo for sure. I don't think you're going to miss it, is what I'm getting at. It's nice to have, but I don't think you're going to miss it.
Not. Yeah.
Just everybody expects tap tempo on delays now.
Well, I mean, if I have the option to control that, great, but it's not really necessary. My Dispatch Master doesn't have it, and that's mostly what I'm using with the gig. Or just I'm listening to the, the beats per minute, and I'm okay, hit a note. Okay, is that close enough? All right, that's good. Take a photo of it. Okay, that's where it was. I'm gonna have to mark it, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I don't know if I don't know if I have a big what's new. I'm just I'm just working on catching up on stuff. Actually, I got the Glomer, the Pigtronics.
Oh yeah, I definitely have been seeing a few things, and I've been wanting to see what you do with it.
Yeah, I haven't been able to spend a ton of time with it, but I'm looking forward to filming that. I've been just wanting to spend today kind of digging into my JX08 synth that Perfect Circuit sent me, affiliate link in the video description. But so I was thinking I might go live later today and kind of work with that a little bit. I think that could be pretty fun. So I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
if I'm not in session, I'll join. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know when I'll do it today. We have a lot of cleaning to do because of the refrigerator. I guess that's my big what's new. I woke up one morning and it was kind of hot, so I was going to make an iced coffee for breakfast with this stuff I use called Jot. And I pull open the freezer and the ice is all melted. All of it.
Oh, no.
And obviously, that meant everything that was in the freezer is now unfrozen, and so then I go look in the refrigerator. Everything's warm, but the temperature says it's 30-something degrees in there, 38 degrees. But I had kept a thermometer in there, and I look at the thermometer. It's 55 degrees. I'm everything in this fridge is spoiled.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, so the freezer was in the 40s, which is still too hot, obviously, for food. Yeah. And there weren't any real there were signals. A couple times I picked up a LaCroix, and it was not super duper cold, and I thought to myself, oh, Rick must have just put these in. And then I find out he's been assuming the same thing.
Yeah, that's what you would thought.
Oh. Yeah, no. Apparently that was not the case, and that would explain why I've had a stomachache for a week and a half. A week. Let's be honest. A week.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. You know, the fridge, I think one of the things about like being so space limited in terms of refrigerator is that the options we had were affordable refrigerators. like there was not like a $4,000 fridge that's not 36 inches wide apparently that could be delivered today. So yeah, we had 2 options. We picked the one that could be delivered within. The other one was like 3 weeks. I'm like, no. We need it by the next day. So yeah, it's set up. It's fine. It's just like, gosh, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's water in the door.
It's not only the expense,
but
it's not only the expense, but it's also,
the cleanup, the food that we're gonna have to. Yeah,
that's all.
We're already talking about that. What a drag! What a bummer! I really hate wasting food. Hate it a lot. So let's move on to something happier. I can talk a little bit about a couple of my favorite moments in the podcast. When we had Louise of Dwarfcraft Devices, was one of my favorite episodes. I been talking to Louise for a while, and I just kind of timed out that when she was available to do the podcast, the Ryan Adams news had just broken. His big New York Times article about him being a sex pest, to put it lightly. And so that was just really a great conversation. And I remember Andrew he had just sort of repeated something that I'm sure, a lot of people say in here is that, oh, he's not a real man, if that's how you act. And Louise was like, no, man, growing up, like, that was what was considered a real man. That is, like, what's considered masculinity to a lot of people. And you can't just assuage, like, you can't just wave your hand and say, oh, it's not a problem with men because he's not a real man, because that's sort of what it boils down to. And words are important. I know people say like sticks and stones and shit, but words can hurt, and they have importance. They have weight, and they have a lot of power. So you gotta admit sometimes when something is a problem with one demographic in ways it's really not a problem with others, and because you want to figure out what's causing this. What's causing this behavior?
Of course.
And you're not going to solve it by just pushing it aside and saying, oh, that's not what a man does, because obviously it is. So that was an interesting conversation to have. I highly recommend going back and listening to that one. Another one I really liked was the one we did with Mike Adams. It's kind of about cruelty and some of the cruelty he'd faced and abuse he'd faced.
Is that episode 23, I think? It takes a little effort to be kind?
It takes so little effort to be kind. That's
that was that one.
I didn't realize that was only episode 23.
That was one of my favorites as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's as far back as it goes. Yeah, I made notes, and that was one of mine as well. One of my favorite ones. I love Mike.
It meant a lot to me that he was willing to share that story really for the first time with us.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I appreciate that a lot.
And it just goes to show, and just like the title says, it's not hard to be nice, but sometimes it is easier to be mean. And
it's easy as hell to be an asshole.
It really is, and it takes a lot of effort for me when I'm, grumpy or like recently been changing medications, and it's really made me a grumpy monster. And just really easily irritated, and it's getting better.
I understand that.
But I'm still trying to like check myself and not be a dick to people, because that's not who I want to be. So I'm going to make sure it's not who I am. So
exactly.
I know, I get really wound up when people say, "Oh, that's not who I am," and when they do something bad. I'm like, kind of is, man. Like. You can't just say that it's not who you want to be, but it's definitely who you are if those are your actions.
Yeah, it's who you present yourself to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, not who you are in your first person syndrome head. Lead character syndrome? I don't know, one of those.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where you're the main character of all the story and everything revolves around you, kind of deal. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's main character syndrome. A lot of people got it. And then last one is I did an episode with my friend Michelle, who sings in a I play guitar for her sometimes, and it was called Fangs, I think. And she just had started deciding like sometimes like what is fangs and what doesn't have fangs, and it was just really arbitrary
fangs,
but really a fun conversation. Yeah, it was a fun conversation, and I was really surprised by how many people mentioned that one over the years as one of their favorite episodes, and I'm happy because it was one of my favorites to record.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun. I think for a while even I was saying it like in the Discord thing, like, hey, look, this has fangs. It was great. It was a wonderful episode. I like that one too.
Should have made a shirt.
Hey, there's still time.
Still time. Maybe I'll have her on for Fangs Part 2. I was just talking to her today about that.
There we go. You should literally just name it Fangs Part 2, the sequel.
This Fangs Part 2.
In a world where...
The sequels have fangs. I don't think sequels have fangs. I think most sequels don't have fangs. Few and far between. Trolls 2
mostly
has
they're
fangs.
toothless, yeah. Mostly sequels are.
You can't capture that magic twice. So what about you? What are some of your favorites?
Well, one of them was obviously the Mike Adams episode, which was episode 23. I really loved the portion of it where he was vulnerable in talking about his experience trying to get back into the playing scene there. And he approached a woman that was prevalent in the community as far as musicians go, trying to hook people up to try to get them in playing and stuff like that. And without going into details too far, because I really think the episode is worth listening to, somebody in a position where they had the chance to do something good decided to be a complete asshole. And that kind of behavior from someone that either looks up to you or in some way has respect for you, and to use it for such savagery is really unnecessary. And honestly, you may end up having someone never play an instrument again or sing. And to me, that really is the gravest thing you can do, because each one of us has our own voice. Each one of us has music in us, art, something. I mean, you could be just muting out someone that could be the next, player that moves someone that needs it with their music. I mean, it's the silencing which really is a problem when you're a gatekeeper and you're an asshole for no reason. You could be having a bad day like we're talking about, but there's no reason to take it out on anyone, even if you're annoyed with them, like in some aspect, whatever going on in your life. Don't take it out on others.
Some people get...
it's not their burden to bear, whatever's going on in your life.
Some people get so high on power, and...
of course.
And to that last point you said, like other people shouldn't bear the burden for whatever's going on in your life. One of my favorite retorts to someone who's just really mad is generally like, you're not mad at me.
No, it's projecting.
You're mad about something else, and I'm just here. And I think we can all be guilty of it, especially to our loved ones, because we feel comfortable around them. But I think the first time I said that was when I was getting yelled at by an extremely angry driver in traffic while I was biking. I'm like, you're literally not mad at me. You're mad at the traffic. No. You're mad that you're late. You're mad because you want to go home. Maybe you're hungry. Maybe you're tired. But you're not mad at me. And I really hope he went home and thought about that, but I really doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah, most of the time they don't. The other episode that I loved, and for me, I've mentioned this episode many times, and it is a very long episode. I think it was around 2 hours. But honestly, it is the pinnacle episode for me that kind of changed my life in a way in regards to music. And that is that was the one that was basically Maturity in Motion, and you guys interviewed Davon Blue Whitaker. I love his work as a creative person myself, doing demos and just videography and everything. not only the music, but also like just even his sets and everything that he does creatively with lighting and I'll gush. Anyway, what I really loved about that, and I'll try to summarize it, is in this one part, he was talking about musicianship. And of course, there's a lot of people out there right now when you think about like YouTube and everybody is obviously making music at the same time. There's, a lot of saturation. But regardless of that, whatever you do every day, whether you have a day job, whatever your form of income is, you're still a musician. You're still an artist despite whatever your day job is. However you get paid, you are still a musician. If 100 people are listening to what you do and they love what you do, they buy an album for $10. Like, it's not, anything huge, but it's still something, and it's guaranteed. If you do absolutely nothing, you will absolutely get nothing. Like, it's the perseverance. You have to start. Yeah. Where you start is definitely will not be where you finish, but you have to keep doing despite everything. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you can allow yourself the kindness of just putting it out, because it's maturity in motion. The more you move and do things, it's the better and learning that you'll do over time. No one is literally, well, there are maybe a few exceptions, but you don't pick up somebody and like, hey, I'm a genius at this now. Like, no, like
you gotta get used to sucking.
Happen.
And that's something that Jessica Dobson talked about too, is that's harder. She thinks it's harder for adults to learn a new thing, because like when you're a kid, you're learning all new things. You're used to sucking at stuff. When you're an adult, you're used to being pretty good at things you've been doing for forever. And you start something new, and if you're not like, if you don't take to it really quickly, you get really frustrated. But also like you gotta fucking do stuff sometimes. I get really frustrated. I'm more of a doer and less of a tinkerer. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that you have to finish things. You have to start things, you have to finish them. And
you have to finish.
And you have to, and sometimes like just forcing yourself to finish something can open the floodgates for more creativity, because then you're not all hung up on like, I didn't finish. I can't finish this. Just fucking finish it for now.
No, I mean, hey, take a break. Walk away, take a break, come back to it. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
it's actually really good. Go for a walk.
I think you have to have the intention that you're going to finish something. And this is something that I'm doing in songwriting right now. I'm writing with some other people, and we just haven't finished anything in a while. And it's frankly, I'm frustrated with it sometimes.
Of course,
I know writing takes time. Songwriting definitely takes time.
It does.
But I want to make sure that the goal is there and tangible, and we have ways we have in our brains that we're going to finish something. I just want to go in to a writing session and just write a song, not tinker. Just here's an idea.
No, have a plan.
What do y'all got? And we're going to finish the song either together or separately, but it has to get finished.
Yeah. No, and I think that's important, trying to go in with a plan, utilize whatever time you have, use it effectively rather than, dicking around for hours, which sometimes that's fine, but when it's all the time, it's not really getting anything done.
Yeah.
And again, like as artists, we're all different. We cannot live in our head and allow society's standards, whatever society expects of us, to shape or infect the way we think, So again, put music out. Before I listened to that episode, I had wasted a lot of time not putting things out. I would tinker with things, but I would be a perfectionist. I wouldn't finish things or put things out because obviously it wasn't the best of whatever expectation or ambition that I had. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I would wait for that to happen. But waiting is not letting the fear pretty much steer you versus just putting it out there, letting go and saying, you know what, the next one, I learned some stuff here. It's probably not the best, but you know what, the next one, I'll take what I learned from there and we'll apply it to that one. But you just got to keep going. I mean, the fear is always going to be there. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to work through it. You have to have courage.
And there are a few times when we had Charlie Bliss on the podcast, that was another favorite of mine, because I'm such a big fan. I listened to, they put out a record Young Enough in 2019 on my 30th birthday, coincidentally. And then they put out an EP of songs that didn't make the cut. And I was listening to one of them and I asked Eva, I'm like, you know, I can see the themes are the same. Like Elvis Costello, his first big song is called Allison. And he had before that, you know, written obviously a lot. And he put out some of those early tracks. And one is called, I think it was either Stranger in the House or Imagination is a Powerful Deceiver. And he said, you know, when I was writing that song, I think I was trying to write Allison. And looking back, you can really hear the similarities. And I asked her, I'm like, do you think that was you trying to write this other song? And I think she was like, yeah, I've never really thought about it like that. But sometimes when you just do it, you keep bringing those themes back until it gets to the point that you want it. And you can't be afraid of going back to old things, even if they felt pretty done, because sometimes you're getting steps closer to what you actually want to create, what you actually want to write, what you want to do. And, you know, that's apparent in, like, videos. Like, you look at my demo channel, and I hope that people who have followed it for a while and are like, things are getting better. The quality, hopefully, is getting better. The quality is so much different in my first videos than my later ones. The editing is better.
Oh, then when you started? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, I know. But because I knew putting that shit out, it wasn't going to be great. You know, I kept that in mind. I'm like, it's not going to be great.
I'm in the same aspect.
Yeah. So I think I'm glad that episode had that effect on you. Yeah, really glad that episode had that effect on you, and I hope it had some other people a similar way.
No, I do too. Please listen to that episode. I'll tell you right now, it's episode 89, and it's called Maturity in Motion. Please, whatever you do, that one is listen to it in chunks. That's kind of what I did. But it really was such a great conversation, and it really changed the way I think as an artist and a musician. And what I'm doing now is actually the reason why it happened is because of that episode. Immediately after listening to that episode, I put out one of my first tracks that I was starting to write. And then since then, I have worked with the Music Project, someone remotely. I've gone to record with a label in the studio. I've done these demo channel stuff with animation. Like, I've done so many things since then, but I had to start. My first track really isn't that great, but over time, I've created things and I still want to be better. You know, I hate, most people would like the music I put out. I actually hate it. I mean, it's important that the good message is always what I put in it. But again, I am never satisfied. And I think that's really what steers the perfectionism, and why when it comes to my demos and music that I do put out, the bar always tries to go higher and higher, and sometimes I succeed, and sometimes the fear wins, and maybe there is a folder on my hard drive that has a lot of unfinished songs that I can go back to at some point. But yeah, sometimes I win, and sometimes I have days where the fear wins. Like, it's human. Like, allow yourself kindness. Allow yourself to have days where you're off. Like, the guilt really is not going to serve you. Like, the fear will always be there. Just do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very well put. Yeah, we have a couple more audio files sent in. And then I think someone did send audio, but also sent text. So we'll see if his audio actually went through.
Yeah, there was one person that was having trouble.
Mm-hmm. All right. Come on.
Hello there. This is Jason from Working Class Music. I just wanted to reach out and say congrats on 200 episodes. Like, this is a huge deal, and we're so happy for you guys. We love you, and, you know, we always appreciate getting to be a part of that 200, and we'll always remember that, you know, y'all gave us our first, like, major interview, and we appreciate that. We've always been fans, and I guess, you know, one of the cooler things and one of the best things for us, and selfishly, that this podcast has allowed, or rather given us the opportunity, is to not only be fans, but to become friends. And to me, that's super special.
Yeah.
So again, congrats on 200. I know you're going to reach 2,000. That's the next goal that I'm setting for you guys. And we love you.
Aw. And I think with that, Jason the Working Class Music have become at least 1% of all the Get Offset episodes. Maybe 2. Because that would be the fourth appearance. That's 2%. Math.
No, and everything he said was right. That's everything that he said was right. And the whole thing about through this finding friendship, falling in love with the gear community in certain ways, like it's all been since the beginning. Watching people glow up, so to speak, has been great.
Yeah, when I first found their channel, my first reaction was I was really mad that no one had told me about it sooner. And so I just shot an arrow into the air and waited to see where it landed. And I'm always surprised that they consider being on the Get Offset podcast to be a big interview or a big moment. And I'm glad that they feel that way. But I really do think they were going to go places even if that episode hadn't happened. But I'm really glad it did. I love them all a lot. Jason, Tia, Xander, Nelson. They're some of my favorite people in this community. And I feel really lucky to have them as friends. It's like, I think it's Megan, guitar builder Megan. I'm just blanking on last names today. She told Layla City once, like, guitar shows are where your heroes become your homies. And I feel like the internet's made it even easier to cross over from heroes to homies. And I love that about it.
It has. Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I love that too. That's why usually when I talk about people that I've made friends with online, I don't really locally get to talk with people about gear and stuff. I mostly refer to people I talk to and I become friends, pocket pals, because I can, in my phone, take you guys anywhere with me. You're light, portable, I don't have to, I don't have to feed you guys. I don't have to walk you guys.
Oh my God, they are pocket pals, like Polly Pockets. They're little Polly Pockets that actually talk to you and help you through some shit. See? Oh my God. Wow.
We'll all get through this life together.
That's true.
Talk about gear, good times.
Good gear and good times, mental health, TV, movies,
yes, very
video
important.
Games.
Very important.
Talking with Emily Hopkins. I'm glad she finally started playing Stardew Valley. I'm like, we got to do a co-op live stream sometimes because I know they like to live stream the video games. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Help you clean up that farm.
That would be actually really fun.
I love the first thing she did in Stardew Valley was get to level 100 in the mines. I'm like, how? How do you do that as your first thing? Your swords
I grinded for days.
She ground, man. No way.
But I'm a level 100. I can look at you and you drop dead.
Like, what, were you just passing out in the mines every night? Like, how do you
did all the side quests?
Shoo. All right.
She did all the side quests first. Before the story, she did all the side quests.
The farming game. She's like, I hate the farming part.
It's a valid approach.
Like, yeah, the farming part does kind of suck until you get sprinklers. I'm not gonna lie. In the greenhouse. This is a Stardew Valley podcast now. All right, next.
New exploration.
Hey, Emily. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Joan. This is Jason Welch. I want to say congratulations on making it to the 200th episode of the Get Offset podcast. That's an amazing accomplishment. Thank you for building such an awesome community around the channel as well. What you have here is special, and it means a lot to a lot of people. Being able to hang out with you all during the premiere videos is something I always look forward to. The conversations are a ton of fun, and I always learn a little something from them. And I always get to come away with a new perspective on things. So again, I just want to say congratulations on the big 200th episode milestone, and here's to 200 more.
Oh, thank you so much. That was
thank
so
you, Jason.
Nice.
Yeah, I love the premiere live chats. I live for those. Like, everyone's chatting, like, in real time, talking about things, and then the perspective conversations that we have. Yeah. Oh, they've been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying them. And, of course, some of the people that come in that end up being regulars that I see every time, I was like, oh, awesome. Jason's here. Like, there's some other people. And I'm like, oh, hi, it's that time of the week. We're all hanging out, at least in the live chat. No, it's fun. I appreciate it, and I like it.
Yeah. And that reminds me, Jason Fuzzmonger just typed one out.
Yes.
He says a standout episode is a two-parter when you had the guests on talking about how to deal with trolls. That is an early 2-parter we had where Andrew and I sent. We sent the same questions to different people, different in the gear community. Mike from Native Audio, Julie Robbins from Earthquaker, Ryan Burke from 60 Cycle Hum, just name a few. I believe we also had Chelsea Clark on that as well, so that was really great. I think, God, I would feel really bad if I missed somebody, but that was 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago, probably. But yeah, so that was a 2-parter. So he said it was cool to see the various takes and how it's different for men and women. Also, anytime Julie is on a podcast, she's worth listening to because she's a badass that always has some great insight. Also true. But yeah, that was... It was... I picked the people... Well, we picked the people that we wanted on that podcast because some of them had already talked about trolls before. But like Ryan Burke, he loves them. He loves trolling the trolls. And so to get his...
Yes, he does. I appreciate reading those sometimes. I get inspiration.
Yeah, and then to get someone who doesn't really deal with them a lot, like Mike from Native Audio, it's not a big part of his day-to-day. And people like Chelsea Clark who would get just vitriolic comments on StuMac videos she did, to the point where she'd have to like message StuMac and be like, you need to take this comment down. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great episode. It's a 2-parter, another long one, but I really liked that format because Andrew and I didn't hear. Andrew didn't hear any of the responses beforehand. I heard them all because I had to chop them up. But yeah, that was a good one. I don't remember how I got that audio to play. Now I'm like, I got this. How did I get that?
How did I do it then? Yeah.
How did I do it? I did it though. Yeah. There's another written one I really want to find. I'm having trouble finding it.
That's fine.
Give me 2. See if I can find something. I really could have. Instagram message.
You know where it is, all right, yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate the way Ryan approaches answering trolls because sometimes it's totally literal or completely absurd, and I really do find inspiration by his comedic approach, and I often also apply some of that as well. Like, the more absurd, the better. They just want you to be upset and angry, and if you don't give them that, they end up walking away upset with the emotion they wanted to give you. So you give them the gift that they wanted to give you.
I usually say thanks for watching.
Too seriously.
Yeah, I usually say thanks for watching.
I do that, or I just think it's hilarious.
Today, a guy, he posted 2 comments on the same video that I wasn't a very good guitarist, and first time I said thanks, and then
but yet has nothing himself.
And then I finally said, of course not. He's not going to put himself out there.
Yeah. Of course
so
not.
I responded,
that requires effort.
Yeah. I don't usually respond, but I said, honestly, Doug, what drives you to leave rude comments like this? What does my playing do to hurt you? I don't need to prove anything to you, but I do implore you to ask yourself, what exactly is my problem? Why am I so compelled to be rude under the guise of just being honest? I'm not concerned with your opinion. I'll keep focusing on the opinions of those who hire me for demos, live gigs, and studio work. I hope you have a nice day.
Go touch some grass, Doug. Go outside, touch grass. Have a good day.
I almost said, I hope you have the day you deserve, which is one of my favorites. But last time I said that to someone, they were like, thanks so much. I hope you have a good day, too. I don't think he got it.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I don't think he got it. But also, I like that someone else commented because about his grammar, like maybe you should learn how to type before writing a comment or something like that. Because this guy, his grammar is so bad. His punctuation was freaking weird. And I noticed that too. I'm like,
yeah, those are the ones they can't even type, but you're going to tell anyone how to do things. Like, dude, you can't even write. Like, you're just like typing random angry gibberish. Like, I am supposed to take you as an educated person writing to me about what I'm doing, which takes that much more brain power and that much more expertise and know how to do. And all you are is someone with keyboard courage and ragey, like, fucking upset projection in your life and typing on a keyboard. Easy as fuck. Like, no effort.
I sent that to Ann Silikowski, and she said, you should just say no. Well, you should practice next time. No.
Just say no.
No.
Just write no. Just a simple no and watch him, like, rage quit.
I had a couple guitar lessons in high school, and that was enough. So this is from Jim Burns. and it's a really sweet
one.
Yay,
Jim!
One of our Patreon supporters. It's hard to quantify or qualify for that matter what episodes are favorite. I subscribe to podcasts for the ongoing content generally. That said, I liked the Fangs episode and adopted that descriptor for several months, at least describing stuff to my friends. I also like the way topics are approached and discussed, like men in quotation marks. That was Louise episode, or restorative justice episodes. Lay out facts laced with solid opinion without sounding like talk radio jocks demanding they have the only valid take. I learned new things about the music industry from Emily's insights about working in it, as well as the scope of modern formats like streaming and TikTok, Instagram short formats, reaching so many ears. Christmas Secret Santa has been awesome too. I would agree with that. To wrap up my on-brand long-ass comment, I love the way it feels like I'm just part of a conversation listening to the podcast and participating in the community they created around it in social media and Discord. Thank you so much, Jem. I also love that Christmas Time Secret Santa. It's a Patreon only Secret Santa.
Yes, I love those in the Discord. Yep.
And there are some Secret Santas. I used to usually do the 60 Cycle Hum one at Christmas, where it's like a mystery pedal thing. I've kind of stopped doing it. I didn't really have the budget. Felt like I had the budget last year, but our Secret Santa, it's a limit of $25. So it's a little bit easier on folks, I think. Yeah. And it's not usually gear-related stuff, which is kind of fun. I think I got Where's Waldo?
No, it could be really
Prince.
anything, which is great. Yeah.
I got Where's Waldo but Prince one year. I loved that a lot. Yes.
Yeah, I think, was it David? I'm trying to think. No, I'm trying to think. Like, I think it was David's Secret Santa one year, and only had like in the gift. Was it Gift Elf? I forget what Elfster. It had like some delay or delay or reverb, and I go, and it was like, but you can get anything, and I was like, no, you have given me a challenge and a mission. I will go on reverb, and I will find a $25 pedal that fits those parameters, and I will make it happen. I did,
nice.
And it was pretty fun to watch that. Yeah, I was just like, no. He's like, oh my God, you didn't have to. And I was like, no, it was within the budget. That's what you asked for.
Yes, we don't.
I made it happen.
As long as you get it for $25, it's fine. I think one year I might have used I might use a discount code I had like for an artist rate to get things like that's usually like $40 for 25 or something. Yeah.
Nice.
So we got two more.
No, thank you for
a while.
Thank you for writing that, Jim. I appreciate you taking the time to write that in. That really was lovely.
And I appreciate you. We got two more, and we've been going for a bit. So.
Hey, it's Damien, and I just wanted to congratulate y'all on the 200 episodes.
My Florida neighbor.
One thing that I've always really liked about the podcast has just been the honesty and the like familiarity of each episode. There's not this like pretentious air to everything in the podcast, and I've always really appreciated that. Emily, Andrew, Joe, like everyone in the Discord, everyone that engages, unless they're just being a dickbag, is really awesome. And every day
we will call you out for being a dickbag in the
we're making a space
Discord.
For
send you a bag of
just
dicks.
Everyone. Y'all are making an inviting space in the gear community. And that's just really awesome. And I appreciate that. And it kind of sucks that I only have a minute, but thank you. Keep on doing what you're doing.
They only get a minute? I didn't know that.
You made it.
Like, wow, these are all consistently...
Speed talking.
These are all very consistent length.
Yeah, looks like they only give a minute, but we talk fast down here.
We do. I remember I've come from a community of fast talkers. Thank you so much, Damien. It's always a pleasure to have you in the podcast. And he's makes some really good music. You make some really good music, man. I want you to know that.
Oh yeah, I love his music. Like anytime he posts on IG, I'm immediately in those comments threads. As much as I am also Matt's ambient trash. Like there are certain people, there's a certain tone in the way they play that I'm like, here I am with my cheerleading flags. Please, I love this. Keep making stuff. Like I want more. I love their stuff.
Yeah, I really like his stuff, and he does some really creative guitar builds too. Some parts casters are really neat. So that's been cool. And we got one more, which is good because it's kind of a long episode. All right.
I appreciate all of them,
Get
though.
Offset, happy 200th episode. That's a huge milestone. And I'm proud to say that I've been listening from the very beginning. I want to say that I really appreciate this podcast and the community you've created around it. It's really refreshing to listen to a gear-related podcast that talks about things more than just gear. And I think you guys have done a really great job of that. And yeah, I love, again, the community. I love the Discord. The people in there are great. You know, you guys have really brought together a bunch of strangers that legitimately, you know, feel like they care about you and each other. And it's exciting to be a part of that. So matters. Again, happy 200th episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully you guys can use this for something.
Thanks, Joe. Pretty sure that was Joe. I don't think he said the name at the front.
Yeah.
I think it was Joe. Joe.
No, I don't think so. I think it was. I think it was. I know. Yeah, I mean, he sounds very similar to, I think, Jason Weiser, too. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's Joe, though. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Thanks,
that was Joe.
I appreciate it.
I just confirmed.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's like, I know their voices are kind of similar, so that's just like, it sounds similar to...
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Again, yeah. Listening from the beginning myself as well, a lot of the people that are in the Discord over time actually have become people that I consider friends. I've had real life conversations about my life and things I've gone through that typically, you know, on social media I kind of like don't, because some of it is, you know, I had medical stuff. So very supportive during a lot of dark times I've been through. And honestly, they've been some of the bright spots during those periods of having conversation, even about random things. Like, it's made me forget or be distracted from obviously the difficult points in my life and to laugh. So I appreciate them so much. And I appreciate that's another reason why I appreciate the podcast even existing, because otherwise I wouldn't have been doing some of the things I've done and talked to and, you know, become friends with the people that I have through this. So a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah. And in that spirit, I'd like to just shout out some of the Patreon followers, as many as I can fit in, who have ever supported us, including some who just financially can't swing it anymore, and we still love them. Jason Fuzzmonger was our first Patreon supporter ever, joined September 1st, 2019. Thank you, Jason. Noah joined the same day. Noah. This close, guys. This close. I love Noah, too. Yeah. Zach Hale, Jim Burns, Jason Weiser, you.
Yep.
Stephen Davies, Tom Kelly, Steve Rao. Steve Rao.
Yep.
Steve Rao. Mm-hmm. Paul Heimberg, Damian Martinez, Andrea Kay, Lauren Kelly, J. Ryan Coughlin, David Ishizaka, Stephen Gridley, Matt Williams, love you, Matt, Russell Healing, Joe Heisey, someone whose username is just Granup. Love you, Granup. We've never talked, but you should join the Discord. If you're still listening, message me and I'll send you a Discord link. Jordan Beal, Jason Porritt, Jeff Covey, Reed Hitt, Holly Fromlack, Aviv Shatreet, Jason Welsh, Demonic Machines, Alex Oli. Oh gosh, Alex, I'm so sorry. I've never heard your last name said out loud. Oyola. Alex actually came out to a Jerf show I played in Portland with his partner. Wife.
Nice.
I think they're married. Simply Anthony, Low Jam, and James Wabshall, who is our newest Patreon supporter, joined earlier this month. Wow, Low Jam actually became a Patreon supporter on my birthday.
Welcome.
Welcome to all, and if your name was read and you have been at the $5 level and want to join the Discord,
thank you.
join the Discord. My hair is doing. It's been humid in Seattle. It's stupid. But to everybody who sent in messages and anybody who maybe wanted to and didn't get around to it, it's a thought that matters. And thank you so much.
Of course.
It's been a ride. I didn't think 200 episodes when we started sounded so far away, and it feels like it was just yesterday we celebrated 100 episodes. So, it means a lot that people continue to listen, continue to join the community. It's changed my life, and it means the world to me. So thank you to everyone who's literally ever listened, ever liked, ever commented, subscribed, ever talked about your friends, about us with your friends.
Yep.
And all of that. So that's all I've got before I start crying. We don't want that. That'll probably make for good television. It's okay. And thank you, Joe.
Reel it back.
Thanks, Joe, for being here and having patience through the technical issues we had.
No, it's fine. I mean, again, it's patience and kindness. And if that's what I can give and through that situation, then it'll get sorted out. We'll just have to get there. It's fine.
Yeah. I've learned a lot about the Revelator IO24, and it's honestly pretty powerful, and I kind of like it. So, but yeah, again, awesome. To everyone out there, thanks for watching.
Thanks for understanding.
Until next time, my name is Emily.
I'm Joan of Heart.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.